Welcome to Launch Code, a premier business podcast. Starring Evan Hafer, Matt Best, and Jared Taylor.
All right, here we are. We're in Dallas, Texas, the NRA annual meetings, and with my good
NRA
friend.
Convention or NRA annual meetings?
It's NRAM, NRA annual meetings.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of it.
NRAM.
If you try to look it up on social, they have 7,000 social media accounts. The NRA does.
Oh, jeez.
So no, it's NRAM. That's what it's called.
All right.
Which I don't think alliterates really well. It doesn't flow.
The NRAM.
It should be like called convention or something.
It sounds like I'm saying a bad word.
I know it does.
Ram. You're going to ram something hard.
So that big, deep voice right there you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, is my good friend Cory Procter, who from Gig Harbor, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But Cory went to Montana out of high school and then was not drafted and wound up making it in the NFL as an offensive lineman, played for 6 years. Majority of that time was with Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
And interesting story, and talk about kind of his journey from not being drafted to starting in the NFL for several years. So, Cory, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Come on, baby.
And that laugh is Jared Taylor,
Oh, thank you.
also from Washington.
Yeah, from the
Hold
island.
both.
From the island.
So here's my theory on the island stuff. So people that live on islands spend their lives waiting on things to be delivered, like milk and gasoline, things that aren't produced on the island.
Wasting time.
They just wait. And then there's also a degree of white trashedness that comes from that because they get into trouble and up to no good. Exhibit A, Dave Reardon, and B, Jared Taylor, who are,
Well, you got to lump him in now, too.
And
It's not something I look down on because I got plenty of it in my family.
But I just found out that Cory grew up on kind of an island.
Ish.
Yeah.
If you're calling us an island, we're all living in the same.
Yeah, but
we're in the same county.
Yeah, but you can drive to where you were. I mean, people like the whole ferry thing.
We didn't have to take a ferry.
Did you ever take the ferry?
The
Yes,
ferry is
all
nice.
the time.
Yeah, but here's what
You
happens.
can take a nap.
No,
Enjoy
here's what
the
happens.
breeze.
You can take a nap. You can enjoy the breeze.
Dave and I share this, is when a person comes from an island on a ferry, the first thing they do is tell you that they had to take the ferry.
Yes, that's true. That is true. That's true.
Oh, hey, good to see you, man. Oh, yeah, man, just got off the ferry. No shit. I thought you flew. My bad. But it's true. And then when it's, hey, I got to run. I got to go catch a ferry.
It's what it is.
Yeah, but it's not like,
that.
oh, I'm taking off. I got to get home. It's like, no, I have to catch a ferry. So they want special treatment.
Yeah.
Or some degree of empathy, or I don't know what it is, but it really annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It takes it down a notch.
You just have to say,
Yeah.
I just got off the ferry.
It's this little step above of what you have to do.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
like,
it is.
I don't ever
I'm
tell
better
anyone.
than you because I got to take a boat.
I don't
I
ever.
just got out of the car.
Yeah, just got out of my truck.
Gotta
yeah.
go. I got to get my car.
Yeah, just got out of the car. I'm taking the car home. No one does that. Or it's like, hey, I'm going to catch an Uber, but that's like, I've been drinking that shit and drive.
Because it's different. It's not the norm. That's like
Yeah.
me I took a pedicab over here. Come on.
Look at that, Dave. He showed us the video of him taking a pedicab. That is an island. Yeah, he's an island guy.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
He did.
It's good.
He showed us the video.
No. Because normally people are going to bash it, or guys
That
will be like,
steps it up,
they're
though.
like, that's
Right.
that's stupid. That's for girls, or like who want rides. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I want a nice, relaxing ride over to the NRAM.
Well,
That's
see,
what I wanted.
That's not what I took away from that video. What I took away from that video is empathy for the driver, because Cory is a fit dude. What do you weigh now?
290 right now.
So he's 290 pounds, 6'5",
Yeah.
and he's a big boy. And like the pedicab. I bet that none of them made eye contact with him. Like, God damn it, don't look at him. He's going.
I walked
That's a one
I walked
step
right
up.
up on him. Like, what's up, man? What are you doing right now? He's just hanging out. You want to ride?
Bless his heart.
But that's it.
Bless
If
his heart.
Anybody
That's a
out there,
Texas
if you're
thing.
ever going to meet Baker and you have to take a ferry to him, I want you to film it and show him it. The second you see him, show him you taking the ferry to him.
Dude, so I live in Mill
So I
Creek.
took a
All
ferry
of
today.
Kelsey's and her brother's friends live on Whidbey Island, or they grew up on Whidbey Island.
Those are weirdos.
No, dude, those motherfuckers are crazy
Yes.
in a good, entertaining way. And like you sit down with them, and like we go.
Well, like white trash, like burn your house type crazy
all,
stuff. Like
they're all successful guys, but like in their different ways. But like the stories that come out of them, like I did wild stuff growing up, but like these guys, it's like, like not burning a house down, but like burning a fence and like launching cars into ponds and stuff, and like just crazy stuff. And then like there's a couple of them, they would always like talk this one dude into doing shit, and he's got like this Tyrion Lannister scar across his forehead.
Question.
And they talked
What is
to-
Tyrion? What does that mean?
Game of Thrones.
Tyrion Lannister.
He took a battle axe across his face.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to talk this guy
That's cool,
into
though.
like running through a picket fence.
Okay. Did he succeed?
No, he's a small guy.
Oh. Well, you got to have force behind it.
Mass moves mass.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's a little, and it's like this is great stories, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about Cory.
I want to hear about
I'm
his
going
scar.
to talk about island
So
people.
he's got
Would-be
this
island,
scar
what,
where he
picket
went.
fences
But there's
from Game of Thrones.
There's a way to run through a fence. You got to square up on it. You don't lead with your forehead.
Why would you lead
You lead with your
forehead?
shoulder.
No, not sure. No, you want to square.
You got
just
a
go
bull.
right-
You got bull in the neck.
Yeah,
You got bull in the neck, just like in football. All right, and you take that thing head on. And you look for a weak point.
but he went
That's what you do.
forehead first.
That's not smart.
Yeah, it's not.
That's
right.
how he got his scar.
Yeah, and one other thing.
That's
I
how
learned,
we get led
What's
to
his credit score?
concussions, folks.
I learned that Jared Taylor played football in high school. Did you really?
Yes.
What position?
I was outside linebacker. I was defense.
Really? Outside
I
linebackers on
wouldn't have pegged
defense?
that, but that's good. That's good.
Well, people see me, they're like, what'd you play? Linebacker? I'm like, no, I was a 180-pound wide receiver in college and 170-pound corner in high school.
I didn't play a lot. As a matter of fact, there was one game. It was a Gig Harbor game. I wasn't allowed to stand with the team. They made me stand on the opposite 20-yard line.
What'd you do?
It was I was fucking around with the girl. The managers were all the girls.
Oh, yeah. Geez, how it goes.
I got in trouble, and I had to stand on the opposite 20-yard line, and they called me into the game on the last play. The coach wanted me to just, on the second hut, just spear the fucking quarterback. So I was like, all right, cool.
What?
So we got an offsides on a fucking.
This is what I'm going to have you do.
So
You're going to go, you're going to dress, you're not going to sit with us, and then I'm going to have you come in on the last play and spear this dude right
I
in the
don't know
face.
what's the logic between any of this.
You got it, son.
So what?
That's what-
What, are you
It
speechless?
makes more sense now. What's wrong with you?
the fact that he just went along with that whole picture,
No.
I'm like, yeah.
Well, one, that you played football, and two, that like you weren't allowed to stand with the team during the game. Go stand down there, Taylor.
That brings bigger picture.
I know.
Bigger.
It's always. I'm just getting a
Context of the
glimpse of
table.
this stuff. But anyway, so let's talk about Cory. So you obviously from Gig Harbor.
You got to stand with the team.
Yeah.
So you played high school football and then
Yes.
went to Montana.
University of Montana. Grizz,
Okay.
baby. We won
And
a national title.
did you redshirt your freshman year or did you play?
I played. I was a backup. Ended up starting 5 games freshman year as a right tackle, and then moved to left guard. Then we had a coaching change, and flipped back and forth between guard and tackle. my
So
career in
after
Montana.
midway through your freshman year, you started the rest of your career at
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah.
All right. Did you think you were going to get drafted?
No, it was funny because I didn't have that kind of approach. You always have that thing where you go watch pro day, watch guys work out, and that's really cool. But I was so into the team, and just because of my upbringing, like I fed off what my coaches said about me. So, like, if you're my coach, I would, like, you tell me good job, I went after that way more often than not. And so if you told me a bad job, that was like a little puppy that just kind of retreated. It wasn't good. So I was way more focused on what was going on in Montana. Thankfully, now that, it wasn't because I'm like, team first, but
Right.
it's because selfishly, I just wanted that affirmation from coach.
Right.
And so, no, I didn't think so.
Did
But
you think you could play in the NFL?
I would watch the guys go ahead of me fall out of the league. So I didn't know what was going to happen. So I'd try it, take a stab. And when I got to Detroit, that was a big culture shock for me. Because I was, grew up in Abercrombie and Fitch High School in Gig Harbor, and then Montana, where any sort of cultural difference on the team, we had like 5 black guys on the team. All of them were on the football team or the basketball team
Right.
in the whole town. And then I get to Detroit, where I'm a minority now.
Right.
And that like freaked me out. Totally did.
So real quick, so how did you get to Detroit? You were as an undrafted free agent.
Undrafted. Yeah.
So draft day, draft goes. You don't get drafted.
They had
And then-
wild expectations, totally expecting me to go on the first day. And then I got dropped all the way down to undrafted.
Yeah, right.
I had a phenomenal drop that day. It was crazy.
So when did the phone ring and you're, hey, Detroit wants to have you come try out?
What happens is afterwards, a whole bunch of teams throw offers at you.
Mm-hmm.
So they might be calling you or your agent and just offer you contracts just undrafted free agents. And so what the job of your agent is to find where's the best possible place for you to make the team. Right. So, okay, the top 3 I remember coming out were Atlanta, Detroit, and Dallas. And Atlanta didn't draft anybody. Detroit didn't. Dallas drafted one guy, Rob Petiti, at the time. And so Detroit looks like they have the best options, just who they have, some non-stability on the line at the time, a guy starting. And so, all right, we're going to go there. That was the choice.
So you go to Detroit.
Yes.
And how was that? Day one, what happened? Like, I mean, you show up.
They love me right away because I'm an average size guy for the league for an offensive lineman, but I brought a whole lot of character. I worked my ass off like crazy, and I was there every single. That's what I say. I still fed off that validity from the coach. So
right.
I showed up 6 a.m. to work out every single day. Didn't matter where I was at or what I did, the night before, and I was there. And so Matt Millen was our GM. Loved me because he was in the weight room every single morning to see who was there. Yeah. So he loved me for that. So, I mean, they go into training camp, but that was a whole different playing experience because now I got to adjust to this speed and power.
So basically, we just learned real quick is that showing up is 80%.
Yes.
Showing up, being on time, being there.
Yeah. Being motivated.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first move, right? 'Cause, all right, eventually then we're going to go in, okay, now we got to approach the day a whole lot different because you got the showing up part down.
Right.
So now we can go.
Like we're checking that box, so now.
Yeah.
And then practice starts, summer camp, or.
We go spring ball, which is no pads. They like what I do, how I work, because I have pretty good technique too, and I'm aggressive. But that got me in trouble a little bit in camp because I was playing stiff, and I get bowled over a few times by some of these bigger dudes like Sean
Too married to the
Rogers.
technique, like.
Yeah. So I would get
more
stuck.
robotic than fluid.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I get stuck in the dirt a lot.
Right.
Feet in cement. And so we're okay. They still loved me. They still have the character, the work ethic, the attitude, and all that stuff. So they cut me, put me on the practice squad, guaranteed me the year.
So what does that mean? So, all right, undrafted, you go to Detroit, you do the workout, spring ball, you don't make the active roster, but that you're on the practice squad. So people listening, you hear that like this guy's on the practice squad. Okay, what exactly does that mean?
So they've changed it up a little bit. There's 53 or 55 on the
active roster.
Game day, there's only 45 plus one, which is a third-string quarterback.
All right.
Right? The other 8 guys, or it might be 10 now, 9 or 10, are inactive for the game, and that's changeable every single week.
Oh, so like active roster, inactive roster.
Right.
Okay.
Now that's separate. To get on the practice squad, they have to cut you. Now they risk things with that, right? So that's why decisions at the end of camp are so important because, all right, if I'm going to cut you and I want to keep you on my practice squad, I want to keep you on my team because I think you're valuable, I think you're good, and I want to develop you. I have to decide whether I want to keep you on my inactive and on the team and pay you, or risk losing you because once I cut you and put you on practice squad,
you're up for
anybody can take you.
Oh, so okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, cut you. You're on the practice squad. Do you get paid on the practice squad?
Yes.
Okay.
So they can now. There's a minimum. I mean, at my time, it was like 80 grand, 80 something. It wasn't bad, but they can pay you whatever. So what happened is I went 11 weeks into the season. We played Atlanta on Thanksgiving, got destroyed. We were awful. Mariucci gets let go. I was at Chris Chelios' bar on a Tuesday night with a couple other guys, the hockey player for the Red Wings. And we're at his place, and I get a call from my agents saying, hey, Dallas wants to pick you up, but we're going to give Detroit first right to match, and since you're already there. And so what happens is Detroit didn't want to put me on the roster, but they would match the pay. So at that time, the minimum was $225 for a guy, or $230 for a rookie that year, and they would match the pay, but Dallas
you were
going
to get paid as
a practice squad guy.
So $230 the league minimum for practice squad or league minimum for
an active.
Okay, so you were going to get paid as an active rookie.
Right.
All right.
So they were willing to match it but not put me up.
Okay.
So Dallas wanted to put me up. Bill Parcells was there. They were winning, chance to go to the playoffs. We had opportunity. So we went there. It was a way better culture. And
so you leave Detroit.
Yeah.
Go to Dallas.
Yeah.
How old are you at this time? 21, 22 maybe?
20. Yeah, 22, 23, something
and
like
so
that.
You're going to get $230 grand.
No, it's prorated. So $230 grand. Your paycheck.
The base
comes over.
$230.
Yeah, the base is $230. It's over 16 weeks, so it's divided. So it's not like I show up week 12 in and
No,
Dallas,
getting-
and all of a sudden get all that 230 back. really quick.
You're getting paid that though.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot of money to.
Oh,
kid
yeah.
From Gig Harbor by Montana that just came from
I
Detroit.
didn't spend a dime of it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. People made fun of me because I had my apartment and I didn't have any sheets on my bed because I did everything at the facility. I had my brother made fun because I had water and ketchup in my fridge. And that was it.
I think that's what's in my fridge now.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. So you get to Dallas.
Yeah.
All right. And on the active roster?
Yes. Well, so what happened? So I could still be inactive. I'm on the 53.
Uh-huh.
So that's active roster now. There's game day active and inactive. So game day, I think I was inactive for the first 3 games. I was there the last 5 games of 2000. What was it? My blanket? 2005.
Okay.
And last 5 games. So the first 3 I was inactive, and then they activated me for the last 2 because they liked how I practiced.
Did you get on the field in those last 2
The
games?
last 2, no.
All right. All right. Let's talk about so next season
Yeah.
with Dallas
Yeah.
on the team.
06.
06.
Yeah.
Active roster.
Active roster, and actually that was a wild one because I was inactive the entire season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't play at all.
So when was your first game in the NFL?
07.
07?
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
But first start or first play in action?
First play.
First play, I mean, like legit, I got a lot. So we had all our preseason games.
Uh-huh.
Played really well. They loved me for that. And
Who do you play in those regular teams?
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just spot. Now they're playing the entire, what do we have, like a 80, there's more than that. Might be 85, 90 to 100, close to 100 guys on the team trying to make it.
Yeah, but it's not like your starters. I mean, it's like, obviously they want to win, but it's more to see the guys in like real game time, game speed. So.
Starters, it depends on the game. Like first game would be a quarter for the starters. Same thing about the second. Third game they'll play a half, and then fourth usually none.
Yeah.
So they want to get lots of game film out there for guys.
So 2007 is when you start playing
Yeah.
in the NFL.
My first start was at Carolina. Andre Girard went down, had an MCL problem. That was the same year he made the Pro Bowl, and Hainsworth stomped on him. Remember in the end zone, cleaning him
Albert
in the
Hainsworth
face.
from University of Tennessee.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate Tennessee. Can't
Well,
stand
I just think that was like one of the first guys to just rob the league.
Yeah.
And it was weird because nobody had ever really done it like that viciously before.
Yeah.
Just blatantly, like, just stop.
Yeah.
Takes a $40 million check home. And I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Dan
what was-
Snyder's sitting there like, he wants to play because he obviously just cashed his $40 million check.
So what was it like in the NFL compared to like college and stuff? Like once you get in the game speed and
It's weird because it's way more man. Like in college, you can still have backup guys that are. You remember playing in high school where you had like some kid walk out and this guy is just a twig.
right.
Like, this is off. I can just push him over
Yeah.
and it's easy. They still had some of those guys in college. So backup could come in and just fill a role, and you would have some easy times. Where in NFL, that was. That's 1 out of 100 times.
Right.
You might have just a guy who's
And
on
the
a
backup
field.
guys are probably more aggressive than the starters because they just want to become starters.
Right. They're trying to get their spot time, so they're
Right.
trying to play. And so you're dealing with 300-plus pound guys at all times.
Right.
And everybody's a little different. I mean, everybody asks me, like, what's my toughest D lineman to play against? And everybody's a little different. So, like, Justin Tuck, Jared Allen, like, those guys were, like, Gumby dudes. And where you would pro them up fine, and then they would contort themselves into this weird spot where it wasn't an actual move, but all of a sudden you end up by the quarterback, and I'm not sure why we're here right now.
Right.
And I'm like,
How did we
coach would be
get
like,
here?
what happened? Like, I'm not sure. I'm like, those are times where I'm really baffled.
Right.
And then you would have the other times like a Leroy Glover or Sean Rodgers who could, when he wanted to, bull you over. And you're like, yeah, I know what happened. I just got
How'd that
got
first
my ass
game
kicked.
go? That first start.
I kicked their ass.
You had a good one?
Yeah, man. It was in Carolina. We had big Chris Jenkins. You remember him?
The lineman.
The D lineman.
D-lineman.
He's Pro Bowl D lineman, and he was 390 weighing in for that game.
Jesus.
Massive. And so leverage wins, baby.
Yeah.
So I got under him and moved. And so we ended up, Marion Barber, I think he rushed for close to 150-plus yards that game, and we just stomped on him, and it was awesome. So we killed it. That was when we went 13 and 3 in Wade Phillips' first year. So center was good. They liked me a lot. Then I started left guard in 2008 for 11 games. And I love that story, actually, because I'm like, there's so many, you know what's funny? It's like, I get out of the league, and there's so many people that have confidence issues in the world. Like, legit. Like, I'm worried about my job. I don't want to talk to my boss. I'm like, because this hierarchy thing where I'm afraid of the position.
Right.
And all this stuff goes on where I've never been afraid of that stuff before.
Right.
Right? But I'm like, I'll go swing the bat. I don't care. And I remember, so 2008, third preseason of the game, Kyle Kozer, a starting left guard, he goes down. He has to have ankle surgery. We come back out for walkthroughs that next day. And Hudson Houck is our O-line coach now, and he's talking to 2 other guys, Pat McQuiston and Joe Berger. Joe Berger just retired from Minnesota. And so he's talking to those guys. And you know, you get that moment where you're like, boss is talking to someone else for your spot, and you're getting a little ticked off, and like the bubbles come up. The problem is most people stop right there, right? Yeah. They're like, I'm going to go home and complain to my wife, my buddies. Yeah. I'm going to go drink, whatever it's
I'm going to do everything but address the problem.
Exactly. And that's the majority of the world right now. I swear I see it. It's rampant all over the place. I'm like, no, I'm ticked off. So I go and get dressed. I go into Hudson Houck's office, and I'm like, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? He's like, yeah, sure. And we just sit down at his desk and said, Coach, I think that left guard spot's mine. And I just let it sit.
Yeah.
Right? And let him get uncomfortable.
Right.
And he's just, well, what are you talking about? You're my backup center. And I go, yeah, I think that spot's mine. That's been my spot since I've gotten here. So I think I deserve that shot. And he goes, well, if you get hurt, wait a minute, if you go left guard and you get hurt, who's going to be my backup center? I go, I'm not going to get hurt, which we know is a lie.
Right. Yeah.
But you're going to do what you got to do to get in the game.
Right.
Right. And so he goes, okay, all right. All right. Well, thanks for bringing that to my attention. We'll talk about this more. I go, all right. So I leave. We go in 4th preseason game. Pat and Joe get bulk of the reps at left guard. I get last series, which is like 5 or 6 plays. It wasn't much. Same thing. I could complain about that if I wanted, right? But I swing it at center still. We come out. We go through cuts. That Monday, we walk out. I'm standing on the field, and Wade Phillips comes up and says, hey, we're going to start you at left guard at Cleveland. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So seriously, I go start 11 games. Kyle comes back, some spot time, ended up getting hurt a little bit. They traded for another guy and paid him like $5 million only for me to beat him out. But, and I love Montreal and I love him. He's Montriceps. But, I ended up making another $200,000 in pay to play on top of my salary for having a little bit of gumption in my own life to go in and swing the bat and be like, that spot's mine. I know what kind of worker I am, what kind of character I bring to the table, but like so many people can't do that these days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah. So
develop a voice.
And then
sorry, that's way off.
No, that's perfect.
It drives me insane.
So you went from Dallas, and then when did your career ended in Miami? Right.
So I went. Let's see. We finished 08. 09 was a lot of spot play.
Right.
And then 2010, they cut me in the off season. Had a big price tag on me in the second round tender. And then go to Miami a week later with Tony Sperano, who was my old O-line coach in Dallas, and Bill Parcells, who was doing consulting with the team. And this guy's funny. Bill Parcells, I'm like, we're in the office, so they're recruiting me, trying to come there. And Dave DeGuglielmo, who's the O-line coach at the time, and Parcells has got his board on the wall. So anybody can't see, I'm sitting here desk board on the big whiteboard with all the names of everybody on the team and the rosters and the positions. Right. So we got a left guard who was here. They signed a big old contract. He's here 1 year, and he hated him. And he goes, all right, this is what I think about your chances of starting here. He goes, this guy, he's all right. He's okay. He plays some games. I don't think he'll be here long. He goes, this guy throws it in the trash, throws the magnet in the trash. He's like, don't even worry about him. He goes, and he keeps going. And I'm like, these are people we're talking about right now.
These are humans.
These are humans. They just threw this name in the trash. I'm like, this is Bill Parcells. All right, coach. Hey, one of the best stories. I got lots of stories about him. One of the funniest stories. This guy will feed you a compliment, but he's the first one to slap it right back down. Yeah. Right? And so my first training camp in Dallas. I walk in. We're in Oxnard, California, and they put the weight room on the tennis courts in the Marriott where we're staying. And I walk in to go get a shake, and he's on the elliptical. You know, he needed to be on like the sprint field with us. And he's on the elliptical, and he comes in. He used to call me Grizz from Montana Grizzlies. He goes, "What's up, Grizz?" I said, "What's up, Coach?" He goes, "You're pretty good, Grizz. You flip back and forth between guards pretty easy. You do a good job. You're smart, too. You're no fucking genius."
Yeah, backhanded compliment.
But you're pretty smart. I'm like, all right, thanks, Coach. All right, we'll just move right on here.
So
he used to show up naked in the hot tub, too. That was a little weird.
Intense. So how long were you at Miami?
1 year, one season. That's where it came down in a blaze of glory.
And you tore your knee up?
Yeah. So Thursday night game, playing Chicago.
Wasn't John Wellborn on Miami too?
No. John played for Eagles and
That's right.
and
Eagles.
the Chiefs. And there's a little. I think he was with a season with the Patriots.
Okay.
But yeah, no, not. I don't think John played for Miami. No, he didn't.
I don't know.
No.
We're there. Yeah, Thursday night game. I'm starting to center, and it was a short screen, so I had to come up, punch the nose, get up to the Mike, who's Urlacher at the time, and I end up over pursuing him, and he runs underneath me, so I plant my left foot to come back, and my patella tendon ruptures, splits in half, takes half my kneecap with it, and I pass out on the field.
Ooh.
And the next thing I wake up is Kevin O'Neill, our trainer, head trainer at the time, slapping me in the head trying to wake me up, which is not it's not protocol for concussions anymore, but so don't worry about that. But he was slapping the head trying to get me to wake up. That was the worst pain I've ever had in my life. Was that
Getting slapped in the head?
no rupturing your
knee.
patella tendon and the thing blowing up like a watermelon?
So how serious of injury was that?
You can't use your leg.
So how long were you like surgery and all that stuff?
Surgery ended up happening a week later in Birmingham, Alabama with Dr. Andrews, and fixed it. Came right. They wanted me to rush back so they could cut me and send me to a whole different rehab center, which is, come on. But what ended up happening is ended up getting infected and led to 4 more surgeries. Had to redo it altogether, a couple scopes, and then an infection came back for a second time. And that's really kind of what happened to my knee there. And then training. And at the same time while that was going on, I went ahead and took care of my labrum and capsule. My shoulder capsule was expanded. So we got a capsule reconstruction and had a whole lot done. Then I tried coming back and tore my medial head of my tricep. And that was just, I think that was a sign my body did not want to do this anymore.
So when did you realize NFL was over?
This would have been, that was 2010, 11, probably 2013.
And so how did you deal with that? Because there's a lot of guys like, coming out of the military and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's like transitioning in the civilian world.
Lights are off.
It's hard for a lot of guys,
Yeah.
It's like that's what they know. You knew football.
Yeah.
And so how'd you deal with that, like mentally and emotionally? Any highs and lows or?
Man, well, luckily, yeah. I mean, luckily I had my wife, and we were getting married at the time, and I think that was kind of like, really, it was like God slapping me down and said, like, I'm trying to make you a husband right now instead of a football player. Because I was ticked off. I was in a bad place in Miami. I was fighting with my O-line coach. We got in a fight the day before the game, and just very much like me against the world attitude. Which I mean, like, come on, man, I need brothers to help me out, And so after that, had lots of pain pills from surgeries. Love those, and ate them up like crazy. And so kind of went into my own depression with that.
Right.
And Megan helped me out, my wife,
Yeah.
through that a ton. But we reached a point, and I tried to come back and train, went to Jersey for a little bit and made some amazing friends, but had some tryouts, but it just wasn't happening since I had so many surgeries under my belt now.
Right.
And I have a higher price tag. So now my minimum was $830 or $820 or something like
Right.
that. And where you can get somebody younger, cheaper, and less tainted.
Zero risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I go through this whole thing, and it's like, all right, we're training, we're strong, it's not happening. I get one last mini camp with New Orleans and went and kicked the crap out of everybody there. And it was great, I think, kind of final moment for me where I'm like, yeah, I can still do this. But go through that season. They love me. They tell me Sean Payton, but didn't do anything. And that's where I was like, all right, we got to do something. I got to go to school. I got to finish my stuff. We can't just sit here and have money falling out the window.
Right.
So that's when I finished my degree, psych, and buddies were like, you like to shoot the breeze and talk, try sales. And I found the Killcliff on LinkedIn, of all places.
This is why I get emails from you.
For me?
Yes.
Huh?
Killcliff emails.
Oh.
Yeah.
For me, Cory Procter?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, don't you put them together?
No.
Are you sure?
I put some of them together.
Maybe. I'm going to find them. I'm going to show you.
He's probably loving it. Yeah. But yeah, started with them, and Todd Ehrlich gave me a shot. The guy who founded the company, awesome guy, and showed some amazing character at great times in our family that went through some trials. Right. We had some loss that happened, and they were just like, go be with your family. Yeah, that was the best thing that ever happened. So that breeds a lot of loyalty into me, right?
Right.
Excuse me. But so there for almost 4 years and kind of rolled in this business development role, which is cool. And a lot of what's been great is it just started this process of one foot after another, one choice after another, that we're going to start making something happen for us in our family's life. And so with all the great qualities that, like, this is what I love about veterans, they're the same thing. These guys have the same tools, same wiring and coding that's going on in their brains that athletes have. It's just a different language in a different world. That's all it is.
Right.
It's a team mentality. It's a physically demanding job.
Yeah, it's like, coaching, like, Kelsey's mother, she just retired, she's a C-level at a big company, and they always say, salespeople, like college professional athletes, always make the best salespeople because it's a win at all cost mentality, and they're used to having a foot up their ass, which I think is the same in the military. It's like win at all cost, foot up your ass, very exact same thing. So
it is great, but that's why people struggle because they don't talk the language.
Right.
And now we're missing. What's up? What's up?
It's
What you got there?
you.
There you go. Come on, that's me, baby. That's me.
There you go.
You got it. Found the email.
That's what he said. The name.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. I ain't getting emails from you.
I don't get those emails.
That's not a kill clippy. That's my email.
Okay.
But but you start that process though of just learning the language, and eventually once you got it, I mean, Baker knows, we saw it. It clicks, and you know it, and you just mow through tasks and jobs like nobody's else, and eventually
when everybody's rowing in the same direction,
right?
And I think that's important, for veterans, is to find that camaraderie, and I think finding like-minded people to work with and work around. That's
Like-minded is huge.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, it's a recipe for disaster down the line.
You're creating other problems that you don't want.
Right.
And that style, though, you can chew through like if you're given tasks, that's easy.
Seriously.
I don't have to think. You just told me what I have to do.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's cool is all right, you start getting enough experiences where, like, all right, what works, what doesn't work, and what's stupid and what's not. So you can bring that to the table, whether it gets used or not. And other people start seeing that, right? So other people start seeing your work and start developing a respect for that. And that's what happened in the league with me. That's what happened at Killcliff with other people who were there. And that's, it develops friendships, right? From that respect comes friendships. And other people outside of the company see that. So what's been cool about the last year for me is everybody has seen that, and I've been getting recruited hardcore for other jobs. They just don't really interest me a whole lot. But, start consulting on the side.
You're doing speaking gigs now, too.
Dude, that's fun.
Yeah.
So
winning's contagious, and people, winning attracts, people are attracted to that,
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, man, this guy's never done anything. Let's go hang out with him. We'll learn a lot. No one says that, It's like you want to hang out with people that, do interesting things and have accomplished interesting things,
Well, so that's what's going on. So what happened with the speaking stuff, and a lot of it's from my faith that stems out. And I think, seriously, like God dropping bombs in my life. But what started happening is I'm having conversations like this, and guys are like, they start liking it. They're like, no, it's, there's some accountability steps. There's some purpose steps. There's some leadership steps that you have to do to implement in your team and get basic engagement that you have to do to maximize like growth outside of this room. And so people were grabbing onto it, and they're like, man, would you come talk to my team? I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. And it would turn into whatever you wanted, And what was wild was one of my favorite ones lately is I did a talk with a spray foam company out of Fort Worth, Texas. And this big dude calls me up. This guy's name is Shane Batson. And he's the biggest LSU TCU fan you've ever met in your life. And he's got he's a big old dude, and all he does is shoulder press all day long. But he has this big alligator chair in his office. Right. And it's awesome, and I want this thing. And so he wants me. He's kicking off this safety program for all his guys. And these are blue-collar guys. They're out, they're out drinking at the bars the night before and showing up late, not in uniform, not very professional all the time. So he's got a lot of these issues. So he's like, I want you to talk about being a professional all this. I'm like, all right, I got you. So let's talk about purpose and accountability. So he brings me on as part of this safety rollout program for his thing. And so I talk with him, and you tell your own life testimony stories, derive points off it, and try to engage you like what's real in your life that's going to make you want to do the job. Yeah. Something personal, not just show up and get a check. And so I'll do that, and we go into his office afterwards, and we hadn't agreed on a price. And he's like, your high end is a little out of my league, man. I can't do that. I said, all right. So we hadn't agreed on a price, and I go ahead and do it because it's right next door to me. But he sits down in his alligator chair, and he kind of does this big old sigh thing. He goes, man, well, I thought it was going to be something cool, but that was way better than I ever thought it was going to be. He goes, just send me an invoice. I'll pay it. I'm like, yes, sir. But it was bad. It's awesome because, what's going on is what we have. This is what it is. The 9 to 5 guys, the people who have the confidence issues, the people that just show up. They don't do much for their marriage. They don't do much for their kids, for the job. They don't do anything to take a step up in their life.
Going through the motions of life.
Going through the motions, man. Yeah. And I like to have a good time, just like anybody else. But I'm going to show up and wreck some shop, man. Yeah. And it's like anybody has the potential to do that. And when you can light that up in somebody and boost the sales of your team or boost the productivity, and freaking go.
Yeah, or there's a lot of people that just go through the motions, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with those people. I mean, you got to have all types of people, but it's the people that sit around like, oh, I'm going to make moves and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
And that's as far as it goes.
Tomorrow, I'm going to starting Monday. It's going to happen.
Making moves.
Yeah, make some moves
Power
on Monday.
meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
look, this is the issue. So we have this amazing conversation. We have a great brainstorming session. This is what this podcast is going to be about. This is what our company is going to be about. We found our identity. All right, good meeting, guys. And we walk out the door, and it never gets talked about again.
It makes me just shove this microphone up my eyeballs.
Seriously. Yeah. And so zero action gets taken from an amazing meeting that just happens. Then what happens? So right then you're like, all right, no, we have to put this into action immediately and get as massive amount from it as we possibly can for as long as you can. Yeah. Burn the night as long as you have that energy rolling in this moment. Because those don't happen all the time.
No.
But what happens from that comes something amazing and a crazy sales spike, whatever ideas.
Large corporations do that.
Yeah.
If the next time, anyone listening, crosses paths with someone that works for a big corporation, ask them, or if you hear them talk about their schedule, just say, hey, can I see your calendar real quick? And it will literally be meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. And it's like, when do you guys work? When do you get anything done? I understand, Monday, sales calls, things like that, and seeing what's going on, but in action, there you go.
Meetings all day long.
Yeah, but in action.
If I ever enter that world later in life in my career, I'm always going to be gunning for my boss's job because I'll do it better. I'll do it better than him.
Right. Well, and here's another side of that coin. Right, is people feel like there's a look. So this happens in the league and the coaching offices where I'm of the subscribing notion that I don't care how long it takes you to get the job done. You just get it done. Okay, right. It takes you 1 hour. I want to know the guy who takes 1 hour to get the job done versus the guy that takes 40 hours to get it done.
Right.
Because this guy who's playing 1 hour and playing golf the rest of the week or doing something he wants to do with his family or whatever that's given way more adventure to him is way more valuable. And so, but the other side of the coin is, it happens in the league office all the time. As guys get their job done, I've seen it with other companies, is your job, you're done right now? Wait, you got time? That means you can be doing more things.
Right.
I'm like, no, No. I could. Look, what I'm going to go do is I got this job done, so I'm going to go down and go to this networking meeting. I'm going to go to the NRAM, and I'm going to go look at some guns,
people and talk to
network.
Or talk to people, yeah.
Right.
As opposed to, like, having other meetings to talk about meetings to accomplish nothing in life.
Well,
it drives you insane.
It's inefficiency in people trying to show that they work rather than actually work.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, I had that with, we had a radio station that wanted to do stuff for us or do stuff with us. And I sit down at the meeting and the girl shows up with a binder of all of our social media accounts just printed out in the binder. Probably took this girl 2 hours to make this, but what are you showing me my own shit for?
What the
fuck is this?
I'm the one that did all this.
And that's what she said. She's like, oh, yeah, as we see here, and she's going through the book like, I that's all mine.
Yeah.
That's great.
Those are my
You're
words.
doing fake work.
Hey, weird, that's me.
You
That's
sat
me.
at a computer
Ferk.
and printed shit off and put it in binders for the whole day while everyone's watching you do this. But what is that?
Looks
It's
nice.
fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Throw it in the fucking trash.
Yeah, no, that's me in that photo. I'm the one that actually posted that. No, we at Killcliff years and years ago. We had like some consulting agency or whatever, and I think CrossFit Regionals was coming up, and I had a call with the guy and explained the entire CrossFit process through the Open, Regionals, and Games, how it all works, and booths and everything. And I was in Abilene, Texas, at the airport, flying out. I'd been turkey hunting with Jeff Tucker, and Michael Howell and I were sitting there, and we had a call, and the guy literally told me on the conference call everything that I had told him. I think the guy's name was John, and I was like, "This is Baker you're speaking to." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "You're telling me the things that I know how it works."
Yeah.
So I think working just for the sake of working, or it's action. I mean, that's what really gets me, is when people like do something, make something happen.
What's the next step?
Yeah. Don't ask permission.
You're showing me a picture of us pulling this fucking thing together. That doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Grab a fucking rope.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's like, great meeting, guys. Good job. That was really informative. And I'm like, now sit back down.
No.
We're going to figure out a next step in what we're doing right now.
Yeah. So it's don't ever ask permission to do something.
No.
Ask forgiveness. Because my bad. And I think the best thing, we can end on this, but we're running out of time. But Bobby Bowden said it best. He goes, Bobby Bowden was head coach of Florida State for many years. I'll never punish a player for getting a penalty based on aggression.
Right.
Which I think is brilliant.
Yes.
I'd rather have a guy make mistakes out there trying to make things happen than a dude sitting in the back scared to get in trouble.
Look at anybody who's successful right now, who started big companies, who's done. I was just listening to Tony Robbins with, I forgot the guy who's co-founder of Skype. Wow. He is listing off company after company after company of failures, right? But he gets one that goes, and he just does it over and over again. And like, all right, there's a lot of different ways you can look at things to try to get to those, but go attack. Go make some action. Go have motion. Go do things.
Well, it's
right?
like Vegas. Anybody can leave Vegas a winner.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to sit your ass down at that table until you're up, then you walk away. Yeah. But the moment you walk away a loser, you're just a loser.
You're a loser.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important. Just be about it. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Right.
And I think that puts us at time.
That's a good one to end.
Yeah. Well,
Corey,
again, where can people find you? How can they get emails from you?
You check me out, CoryProcter.com. I'm changing my site a little bit, but social at Cory Procter at Twitter, and Instagram at Cory Procter Official on Facebook. But I'm doing a bunch of stuff on there.
CORY
trying to get better at social
Cory
media.
Procter, PROCTER.
CTER.
Cory Procter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Baker.
You're welcome. Always a pleasure.